Well, hello and welcome back to another video. I am making something different. It's not really baking today. I am making meatloaf, but I am using my sourdough bread in place of the breadcrumbs. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to toast 2 pieces of it. Now, I like to make several loaves of bread at a time, and then I slice them and they go straight into the freezer. So I'll usually make 4 when I make it, and we'll leave 1 out and put it in the fridge so it stays fresher longer, and then the other 3 we'll put into the freezer. So what I'm doing now is breaking apart the frozen pieces, and they're gonna go in the toaster.
So I'm going to get my ingredients together in a bowl. I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup of milk,
1/2 cup of barbecue sauce, if you are familiar with the bone sucking brand of barbecue sauce, it is a really clean ingredient. Like, as far as the ingredients go, it's really clean, sweetened with honey. We really like it a lot. Add 2 eggs to that. Two tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Honestly, I don't feel like I can be bothered to measure this, so I just eyeball it. 2 tablespoons of garlic. I also eyeball that. And a tablespoon of onion powder. The only reason I only do 1 tablespoon of this is because I'm also going to add an onion to it. Now, I will preface this and say my husband likes things really, really flavorful. So if you don't like them as flavorful, omit the onion powder and just use the whole onion, and do just a tablespoon of the garlic powder. A 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Not very much at all. And a teaspoon of salt. So you're gonna mix this all together. You do not have to do this step. I have forgotten before and just thrown everything in. I do like it though, because I feel like it does get your spices like more evenly dispersed. Because this sauce is just gonna coat all of the meat. And it's just gonna make your life a little bit easier, but like I said, I've done it without this step before, not necessarily on purpose, and it has worked out just fine. I'm gonna put all of this away, and then we'll come back for the next step. Okay, so the next thing you wanna do is chop an onion. I do a whole onion. You can do just a half. I think my favorite thing about meatloaf is that you could just you could put in whatever you have, really. Meatloaf to me is actually a really easy thing to just throw together after dinner. It's been a long day. After work for dinner. And so I had this original recipe is different from what I'm doing now. It's one that I just found, and I adapted it to what we like, and that's what I'm showing you now. I don't like mine diced too thin, to be honest, because I love the texture in the meatloaf, so I just do a decent chop, but it's not like minced or anything. But you do it how you, 2 ways you can do this. If you want breadcrumbs, like the real texture of that, then you can just throw it in your food processor or your blender. It's gonna be sticky because it's sourdough. This is my homemade sourdough that I made a video for. So if you haven't seen that and you wanna know how to make it, you can go find that video or I'll link it below. So you can, because it's sourdough, it is gonna be more sticky when you blend it, but it's gonna work just like breadcrumbs work. What I like to do is kind of like the onions, like a rough chop. Because again, I like that texture in there. And when you cut toast, it's very crumbly. So you are gonna get some breadcrumbs, just because that's going to happen. And you can honestly play with this recipe, try it a couple of ways, and just see, like, do you like feeling the texture of bread? Do you want to have it more crumbled? I've done it both ways, and both ways are great. I just prefer this way. So that's all chopped up. I'm gonna put my meat in first, and then I'll throw these ingredients on top, and then we'll mix it all together. So I like to use a big casserole dish and not just a loaf pan, because it cooks faster that way, because you can make it a thinner loaf and you don't have to cook it as long, because meatloaf takes a long time to cook. So I don't necessarily fill it all the way to every edge or anything. I just pack it down mostly to maybe about 1.5 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches thick, I would say. I'm gonna stick this in a 375-degree oven for 40 minutes. I'm gonna go back with just some barbecue sauce, the same barbecue sauce I put in here, and I'm gonna put that over the top for the last 10 minutes or so of baking, and then we'll see how it looks.
And so that this meal could be more well-rounded, I just decided I was going to fry up some broccoli real quick and add it to the side. So after this has been in for now 40 minutes, I'm just going back over the top with some of that barbecue sauce that I mixed in earlier, kind of like a glaze, and it's going to bake an additional 10 minutes.
And that is done. So I did take the temperature of it with a thermometer. It needs to reach at least 160 degrees, and mine registered about 174. So I know that it's done, I know that it's good. I'm gonna serve this up and we are gonna eat delicious food. And I hope you join me in my next video.